Hi, everybody. It's Tina. Welcome to our cooking class tonight. I'm excited about tonight because I love the recipes. If you like peanut butter, you're going to be really excited because I have two recipes for each night and they both have peanut butter in them. So before we get started, I want to talk about our featured product tonight. We're going to be talking about the Smart Multi-Cooker. And this is one of, I call them our workhorses in our product line because it does so many things. It is a microwavable product. So let's talk a little bit about some of the pieces that you have inside of here. So first of all, we have this great container at the very bottom. And this is awesome for cooking pasta. So if you've got elbow macaroni, rotini, anything like that, not the long spaghetti noodles, of course, because they don't quite fit. We have something else for that. But this is fabulous for cooking your pasta. So you'll want to just put that uncovered in your microwave because you all know what happens when you cover a pot on a stove when you're cooking pasta, right? It boils over. So that's why you always want to cook your pasta in your microwave uncovered. So that's the very first thing that this piece will do. But add a couple of pieces and it is going to transform into something pretty amazing. So we have this little white round section. It's got these little, I call them finger grabbers, just like that. It's right on top. And then you're going to take this piece, place it on top, and just snap on the cover. Now, when you do this, guess what you've just done? You have created a rice cooker. I know, right? Boom. Did you hear it snap? So you're going to put your rice and your water inside of here and put it into your microwave. And in about 18 minutes, you're going to have perfect rice. Now, I will share with you that I do not own a rice maker, and I know that that's a little unusual because most people that live in the islands do. We eat a lot of rice, but instead of having something on the countertop, it's just so much easier to have this item in my cabinet that is so versatile and does so many things. Now to open it, you just push down on the handles with the heel of your hands, just like that, and it's going to pop open the cover, and you're going to remove the little white round section, and voila, you'll have your perfect rice. So it's a pasta maker, it's a rice maker, but there's more because we have a special basket. Now, why I call this a special basket, you can tell by looking at it that it's really thick, heavy, and that's because this is metal encased in Tupperware. And the reason that we have metal encased in Tupperware is that microwaves are attracted to fat, sugar, and water, and they pass through paper, glass, and plastic, but they bounce off metal. So when you have this with the metal, and you place the cover, which also is metal encased in Tupperware, the microwaves are going to come down, and guess what? They're going to bounce off of this, they're going to bounce off the side. Now, the bottom, this larger piece, it is not metal. So it is going to be attracted. Remember fat, sugar, and water? It's going to be attracted to the water. The water is going to get nice and hot, and you've got a true steamer. So I'm going to tell you, if you cook your broccoli, your edamame, your green beans, any kind of vegetable, your shrimp, any seafood, your fish, you're going to absolutely love this for steaming. It is a true steamer and you're steaming in the microwave. So it's pretty amazing. So the next piece that we have is a smaller basket. It fits right down inside, just like that. Now you have two-level cooking. And so you can place this right on the very top and you can have, depending upon what you're having for dinner that night, you could have shrimp on the bottom and maybe some asparagus on the top that you're steaming. I've also put my like chunkier vegetables like broccoli and then some salmon in the very top because it fit better that way. So you can do it that. So isn't that amazing? Now there's more because remember this bottom piece that I told you about? That's where the water goes. Well, there's some recipes that we have where you've got pasta in the very bottom or you have your rice with water. And then you can also have your other two layers. And so the water from your pasta is what's going to steam your vegetables and your entree up on top, yet it's also cooking your pasta. We're talking about one container in the microwave that can do up to 3 different things. For those of you that like a potato salad, this is so amazing. Now, here in Hawaii, we make potato macaroni salad. So here's what's so beautiful about this. You're going to put your elbow macaroni and your water in the very bottom. You are going to put your cubed potatoes in here, and you're going to take 3 or 4 eggs and you're going to bury them in the potatoes. I did say that, eggs in the shell, all right? And then you're going to take the cover. We're not going to use the basket. We're going to place this inside the microwave. So remember, you've got in the very bottom, your macaroni with your water. You've got your potatoes, so that water's going to steam your potatoes. It's going to cook your macaroni. You've got your eggs in there, so you're going to not hard boil eggs. You're going to hard steam eggs. And you're going to put this in the microwave for about 18 minutes. And when you bring it out, just like that, you take those eggs, put them into some ice cold water to stop them from cooking. And there's very little water left, but if there is, you can go ahead and drain that. So now you've got your potatoes, your macaroni, and your eggs all cooked at the same time instead of having to put 3 different pots on the stove. It is such a time saver. So if that's one of the staple items, or maybe it's something you like and you never make it because it's so much work, you're going to love it. Okay, so for tonight's recipe, we're not going to be using the little basket either. So I'm just going to put that off to the side. And I am going to put some water in the very bottom of this. So there is a fill line. So you're just going to want to make sure that you use that fill line. So there's a fill line for when you're just cooking and using it as a steamer. And then there's a fill line when you're filling it up with water to cook pasta. So you want to make sure you pay attention to those. And we're going to place that right in the inside. So the reason you want to make sure you don't put it in the fill line is otherwise the water's going to come up through the holes and you don't want that to happen. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually cook some chicken breasts. Now, I'm actually going to cook 2 chicken breasts. I'm halving the recipe, but I am still going to cook 2 chicken breasts because I want one for some chicken salad that I'm going to make tomorrow. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it all at one time. And I'm going to put a little salt and pepper on that. So let me, I love pepper. Oops, my hands are a little wet. So I like more pepper than I like salt. First of all, pepper's not bad for your health. So lots of pepper. And then we're just going to put a little bit of salt because you got to have some, I guess, right? All right. There we go. And we're going to put this into the microwave. Now, when you're cooking chicken breast in the microwave, typically you're going to put it in there for about 8 to 10 minutes. Everybody's microwave is a little bit different. I'm going to put it in for 10 minutes because I've got 2 really large ones. We want to make sure that they're cooked. All right. And away we go. All right, so let's start on the rest of our recipe. So this is our supersonic chopper, and it comes with a paddle. It also comes with a blade. Today we're going to be using the blade, and I'm going to put a couple carrots in here. The recipe called for baby carrots. I don't have baby carrots because that's regular carrots that they just kind of process because there's no such thing as baby carrots, y'all. So I'm going to start those since they're so big and chunky. I'm going to do those up just a little bit. There we go. I don't want to chop them all the way. There we go. And then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I've got some bell pepper strips. You can use orange or you can use yellow. You could use red if you wanted to. And we'll put those in here. We don't want to chop very much because we don't want this to be pulverized. We want this to be chunky. And I think I did a pretty good job with that. All right. So I'm going to just put this off to the side. The other ingredient that I'm going to put inside of this is, here we go, edamame, but I'm not chopping them. So it's all measured. And so that is shelled edamame. All right. I'll use my knife and just kind of stir that up just a little bit. And make sure I haven't missed anything. I've got my carrots, my bell peppers, my onions, edamame. We're ready to go. So I'm going to just set that off to the side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is wipe off this little board. Nothing but some wet vegetables on it. So I don't have to worry about any cross contamination, but I'm going to use it again in just a few minutes. So that's why I want to wipe that off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a yummy dressing. So you can make this in a quick shake. I'm going to actually make it in our mini chopper today. So we're going to start. Let's see here. We've got 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. So this is what I'm using. It's seasoned rice vinegar. Okay. So I've got that pre-measured. right there. And then I need a tablespoon of soy sauce. Okay, there we go. And that's pre-measured. Now I need a little mustard. So we're going to use just a little bit of Dijon mustard. Place that inside. All right, and next we've got peanut butter. I promised you there was peanut butter in every recipe, right? So I'm just going to scoop that peanut butter out of my little measuring spoon. So I pre-measured almost everything, not quite everything. All right, next thing that I need is some water. So I need 2 tablespoons of water. So I'm going to just measure that right here into my little Tupper mini. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of water. And then the last ingredient that we have is sesame oil, okay? And we need 3 tablespoons of sesame oil. So, oh, it would help if I open up that jar a little bit. I have to pull this little plug out because it's a brand new container. All right, so it's 3 tablespoons. So I didn't make the recipe or I told you I was halving the rest. I'm not having, I'm not cutting it in half with the dressing because it won't hurt to have a little extra at all. Okay. Pour that inside. And the peanut butter, if you can see, is kind of stuck up on the top. So I'm going to scoop that down inside of there. I should have grabbed my other little mini spatula. That would have been a better plan, huh? All right. And I believe I got everything. We're going to put our top on. And we're just going to pour it in. And we're going to do it a good amount of time because we really want to emulsify that. That's what's so important. If we don't do it a good amount of time, it's not going to get emulsified. All right. Let's take a look and make sure I got all the peanut butter off to the side. Most of it. There's a little bit because you know what? Peanut butter is kind of sticky. There we go. And I'll put that back in. Gosh, guys, it smells so good. All right, so now you're probably trying to figure out, what is she making? Well, I'm making lettuce wraps. And if you've ever been to that famous Chinese chain restaurant, they have them there. And we're not going to be paying that price for them. We're going to make our own. How cool is that? All right, so we've got about 5 more minutes. So I want to get started on our next recipe. And this is going to be a dessert. So we're going to start. I've got my peanut butter spatula that I already measured all my peanut butter. We're going to start with my Wonderler bowl, and we're going to start adding all of our ingredients. So the first ingredient that I have is butter, melted butter. So I love these. These are our micro pitchers, and there's a 1 cup and a 2 cup. So they're great for liquid measuring. But what's really cool about these is you can cover it. So when you are melting butter, it doesn't splatter all over. So I'm just going to pour that right inside. So when you put your butter in the microwave, you want to just put it in for a short period of time. All right. Now, got that in there. The next ingredient is I'm going to go ahead and add the peanut butter. And the reason I'm going to add the peanut butter next is because I really want to make sure that it's thoroughly mixed in. And if you don't mix it in with the liquid ingredients, sometimes it gets a little clumpy. I don't know what other word you use, but it doesn't get as thoroughly mixed in as I'd like it to. So I'm just gonna use our spatula. You could use the whisk if you wanted to, but it's really, because I'm adding it with the butter, yeah, we'll grab the whisk so that you can have a chance to see. Okay. There we go. So I'm just gonna mix that up. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Use your whisk and mix the peanut butter and the butter together. Ooh, yummy, yummy, yum. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little, I think I'll add the vanilla next. Get those liquid ingredients in there. Thoroughly mix that up so that way it doesn't all go into the same bite. Now I'm gonna add a little brown sugar. I'm gonna post the recipe so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Then next we've got some powdered sugar, and I'm going to slowly add this in. So I'm going to crank this down just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. As I put it in there, I'm stirring. Okay. All righty. Got half of it in there. You don't want to dump too much of it in because it will get all clumpy and you want it to be nice. And so I read this recipe before I made it the first time, a couple of times, because I thought, oh, I must be doing something wrong here. I don't think this is really the way it's supposed to go, but it really is. So my first inclination, because it has butter, and then the next recipe or next ingredient that I'm going to show you is graham cracker crumbs. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to use the butter and the graham crackers alone, and that would make the crust. But that's not what the instructions say. It says to add all of the ingredients in the bowl and mix them. All right, so it's still pretty smooth, as you can see. All right, and next is the graham cracker crumbs. Now, I want to share with you that you can buy graham cracker crumbs already chopped up, but that's not what I did. You know that chopper that I just chopped the vegetables in? That's what I use. So I used a pack of graham crackers from the box and chop them up. So that way you don't have to go out and buy crumbs when you probably already have graham crackers at home. And if you don't, it's great because you can have the graham crackers around for another recipe, whether you're making s'mores or just wanting to give a graham cracker to the little ones. You know, you've got little ones at home. They probably love graham crackers. Okay, so I'm just about done here. I'm going to sprinkle the last in. Timer just went off. What perfect time is that? So I'm going to give it a few minutes to kind of rest because, you know, it's kind of like when you hit the brakes in a car, it still keeps on going for a few seconds, right? So when the microwave stops, your food is still cooking for a little bit. Okay. Hey, you guys, this is so delicious. Now, this is a no-bake dessert. So one of my favorite things is to use this container. This is our large snack store. So, you know, my mom was the queen of recipes that called for 9x13 pans, and she had a couple of them at home. The problem was that she'd make a dessert, and then sometimes they were really fancy on top, and then she'd put plastic wrap on top of them and make a big mess of her fancy decorations. What I love about using our large snack store, I call this my 9x12 baking dish. Because you don't have to put it in the oven, of course, for no bake desserts. And so, yep, you can use it for so many other things, but I love it for no bake desserts. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this scrumptious peanut butter yumminess here, and we are going to scoop it into the container and then spread it all out. That's where the silicone spatula comes in. So I'm just going to kind of put it into the corners and spread it around. And these are called peanut butter no bake bars. Yum. How is that? All right. So, wow, you guys. If it tastes half as good as it smells, it's going to be pretty exciting. That timer wants me to come right this minute. So I'm going to scoop this off right here. Pop it around. And then a little trick is You kind of want to bounce it like a little bit just to kind of help it to settle down a little bit. All right, so we've got it in there and we're going to set this off to the side for just a minute. I'm going to take out my chicken. All right. We've got a couple of forks over here. All right, now I got peanut butter on my cutting board that I need. I'll wipe it off once, good night. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna open it away from me because I do not want to get a sauna. Not right now. All right, so I'm gonna just lift up this inside basket and show you. There's our chicken. And I'm gonna just take out one of the chicken breasts. The other one, I'm gonna go ahead and cover and put off to the side. Because that's the one I'm gonna use later, okay? So now you've got a couple of different options. You could take and shred this all up, okay? This is a big chicken breast. You know what? I put it in for 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna put it back in for just a few more. So, but I've got one more thing I gotta do. So we'll put it back in and then we'll cook and I'll come back. So hang on just a second here and stick it in here. We'll let it keep on steaming. Nowadays, our chicken breasts are so humongous that sometimes you have to adjust your recipes. Okay, so here's what I want to do because I got to get this part done for the other recipe. This is our microwave pitcher. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to take this bag of chocolate chips, pour that inside of there, and I'm going to put this in the microwave for 30-second increments. Okay, so here we go. 30 seconds. I'm going to take it out and I'll keep on stirring it. All right. So one of the ways you can shred your chicken is you can just put it on your cutting board, take your forks and start tearing. Another thing that you can do is you can put it in your Power Chef and chop it up if you want to, and you can get it pretty shredded that way as well. But my Power Chef is a little bit busy right now with all those vegetables. And the other thing is, and this would have probably been a smarter thing for me to do because it was such a large fat chicken breast, is to go ahead and just cut it up in strips before you're cooking it. And that way it definitely is going to cook. Funny story. First time I ever tried to cook chocolate chips in the microwave, I looked at them and they looked like nothing had happened. And very little has happened with this, but you just kind of want to stir them around a little bit. So I just kept putting them in on high power forever. And you just don't want to do that. All right, so put this back in for about 30 seconds. And oops. There we go. Anyway, I kept putting the chocolate chips in and I'd take them out and they still look like chocolate chips and I'd put them back in and I did it for like 4 minutes. And then I realized that they were like hard as a rock because all they did was fry those puppies. So you've got to take them out. You've got to stir them. That's really, really important. All right, so we're going to stir. It's almost done. And voila. Okay. So now you can see with that second 30 seconds, quite a bit of them melted, but there's still some chunks. And it says to do it for 1 to 2 minutes. So that's why we got to keep on trying. Now, as soon as that's done, I'm going to put the chicken back in for just a couple more minutes and then I'll shred it all up. And that'll give us some time to wrap up our dessert. Okay. So I want to share with you what I'm going to do. We're going to take this luscious peanut butterness that you see right here. And we're gonna cover it with that melted chocolate. And then we're gonna put the seal on it. We're gonna put it in the refrigerator. It does need to set up. So it takes a couple of hours to set up. You want the chocolate to kind of get kind of a hard shell to it. All right, this is perfect. So in my microwave, that took 3 30-second increments, okay? And it is perfect. All right. So you could get fancy with this if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna kind of pour a bunch of it down the middle and crosswise because we're gonna spread it all over. There's no calories in this because it's made in Tupperware, if you were wondering. Wow. Delicious. That's all I get to say about this. So I don't normally do desserts midweek, but peanut butter, why not? All right, our silicone spatula will get this out like better than licking the bowl, you guys. So your kids will hate it because there won't be anything left to lick. Look at that. Pretty amazing, huh? All right, so now we're just gonna spread this into a thin layer. We don't want to get the peanut butterness up into the chocolate because we want this to be like a almost like a frosting, I guess is the best way. Mm. Ooh, I made a mess. That's what paper towels are for, right? I can wipe up the part that I mess. Okay, I know you guys want to see this. So I'm gonna make the camera. Just, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to put the chicken back in. Hang on a minute. Nothing wrong with me. I'm excited about all this chocolate yumminess. So we're just gonna spread this until we get every bit of the peanut butter base covered. And it's almost done. You guys, I'm just telling you, this smells so good. The peanut butterness is amazing. Let me get the corners done. Okay. A little lump there. Should I lift the spatula? At least not while I'm recording, right? I'll save it. All right, so I'm just gonna wipe the little bit of mess that I made off of the edges here. Oops. So that it's nice and pretty. Here we go. And here's the beautiful part, is that it has the seal. So when you put this in the refrigerator, you don't have to balance this on top of the milk and the orange juice. You can just put it in there. You can put the milk and the orange juice on top of it if you have to. So this has got a really long seal. So just kind of run your hands right along it to seal this up. Just like you would like with a round seal, you would normally run your fingers around the seal. So you're going to put on all 4 corners and then kind of press on the sides. And then when you open it, it's important that you lift up the big tab, but then you want to lift up all 4 corners. You don't want to lift it and peel it all the way back. You want to lift up all 4 corners so that you don't stretch out your seal. Okay, so that off the side, I need to wash my hands just a tiny bit, take my chocolate off of my fingers. And we'll be ready now for our chicken in just a few minutes, okay? Now, we're gonna shred up our chicken, and then what we're gonna do is plate the chicken with the vegetables, and we'll put them right in here, and then we've got that yummy dressing that we made that will go right on top. So I'm gonna grab spoons for that. And we'll be able to get that all plated. I'm thinking, just to show you guys the versatility of this, and it really won't matter if I have this all mixed together, will it? Because it's all going into the same recipe. So I'm not even going to worry about rinsing this out. I need to grab, I don't know if I have another spatula. They're all peanut buttered and chocolate. Let's see. This is not a spatula, but it will work. This is a little sandwich spreader. I'm just going to go ahead and put all of this mixture into this, and I am going to put that chicken breast inside of here and chop it, because that will help you to be able to see how versatile this piece is and kind of how many different things that you can do with it. Mix that up a little bit so I don't have all carrots and some edamame and couldn't bite. Okay, so we'll put this back in. And when the chicken comes out, we'll put it in and we'll be ready to chop it up, and it'll be nice and finely chopped. So it's got about a minute left, but I think that might be enough. So we already did it for 10. We don't want to overcook our chicken, do we? That would not be a good thing. All right. So I think this is my chicken that I had started with. So pieces in here. All right, and let me place my other chicken off to the side. That's what I'm going to use for chicken salad tomorrow. So that's kind of a cool thing that you can do. And yeah, now it's done. So I'm going to just put like a big chunk right inside of my chopper. And this chicken is really nice and juicy. I don't know if you can see how juicy that is. Can you see that? Very juicy. Okay. Time for the chopping to begin. So this time just a bit. So you're going to just give a couple of pulls. See if that is, oh yeah, that's perfect. And look how awesome this is, you guys. Can you all see that? Wow. Okay. Time to plate things up. So you can do it 2 different ways. If you wanted to mix your chicken in with your vegetables, you could do that, but I'm not going to do it. I already have a little bit in here. So I'm just going to do up one. All right. We've got our carrots and a bell pepper and our edamame. Okay. And we want our chicken. Now, we're going to give this again a couple of more pulls, because we want to make sure it's totally done. It's settled just a little bit while we're doing everything else. And now we have our dressing. And we'll pour that right over the top. Again, I'm going to put my screen down so you all can see. And you have your delicious chicken lettuce wraps. So what do you think about that? Isn't that awesome? Wow. We made a lot in just a very short period of time. So I want to thank you all for joining tonight. We'll be posting the recipes a little bit later. And so I hope that you'll try them. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Good night.